No system, no bloodline, no group, multiple female leads. Tayce, Burma, the 18th officer, please move to the main text. That touch of red, that figure, the strongest red beast of this era. Su 13 made a wish to the divine dragon to obtain 10,000 immortal beams, marking the beginning of the days of repeatedly jumping between life and death, using the acupoints around his body as the foundation and chi as the guide to break the limits. Buma. Wow, big cat, black ball, green giant. 13 This is my woman, you should have no objections, right? Jolin Immortal. Mr. Bobo. Bike 2. Chapter 1. A Talis Falls from the Sky. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Little dragon, where are you running? Come to the bowl quickly. Ow. A agile figure swiftly shuttled through the mountains and forests, and not far away, there was a dinosaur with green skin all over it, as if it had seen a ghost running wildly. Shwa. As the dinosaurs ran faster and faster, the chasing figure jumped and landed heavily on their backs. Fists fell wildly like shooting stars, and the dull blows were like collisions of steel, quickly turning the entire dragon head into a bloody mess. Bang! As the dinosaur fell heavily, the man also lifted his sharp and wild face. Underneath a pair of sword eyebrows lies a vast starry sky-like gaze, with long and loose hair draped over the shoulders. The antique bronze skin exudes wildness, and the streamlined muscles are full of strength. The lower body is wearing a grass skirt made of tiger skin, and the long legs are cast like steel, with sharp muscle edges. The boy's name is Su Shirsan. To be precise, it should be his name from the previous life. Born in an orphanage since childhood, he was named Su Shirsan because he could eat up to 13 people per meal. As an orphan, I have a solitary personality and often suffer from exclusion due to overeating. But Su Shirsan didn't care about those idle words at all. He only thought about two things every day. One is being able to have a full meal. Secondly, I will go to the orphanage at a fixed time every week to watch the Dragon Ball on the TV. Sun Wukong's purity, friendship, and bonds are his dreams. Bix's decisiveness, calmness, and cruelty are his aspirations. Tayce, Buma, number 18 It is also a deep thought in his heart. It can be said that the Dragon Ball has become his only bond in the world. However, a sudden fire broke Su Shirsan's quiet and stable life. That day, he rushed into the fire regardless of everything and rescued everyone, but he couldn't save himself. He thought he was doomed. But to his surprise, when he opened his eyes, he came into this unfamiliar world. He is soul-piercing. I don't have any memory of the owner of this body, I only know that when he woke up, he was seriously injured and almost died. Name: unknown. Age: unknown. Address: unknown. However, he doesn't care about these things either. I don't know if he happened to change his name. His name is Su Shirsan, and he is estimated to be 15 or 16 years old. 5 years ago. It has been a full 5 years since he crossed over. This forest is surprisingly large, and he wants to return to human society, but is hindered by the fierce beasts around him. Due to helplessness, Su Shirsan could only continue to exercise, from being chased and bitten by various fierce beasts at the beginning to now becoming the only king of this forest. Not to mention tigers, lions, elephants, even massive dinosaurs are not his opponents. At the same time, he found that his appetite had also increased significantly compared to his previous life. A dinosaur was enough for him to eat 80% full, and his strength was much stronger than in his previous life. With a steel-like body, his strength was like a torrent. Although it's not possible to blow up a mountain with just one punch, breaking a century-old tree is still not a problem. It's time to leave. Su Shirsan looked at the dinosaurs and estimated that his strength was sufficient to deal with any crisis in the forest, and he did not intend to continue staying here. For 5 years now, he has been facing a group of wild beasts every day, and he doesn't even know how he persevered. Before leaving, you should also treat yourself well. Not for a while. Su Shisan quickly dragged the dinosaur to the edge of a river, skinned and boned it, and removed its internal organs, a set of movements that could be described as flowing smoothly. The curly campfire, accompanied by wisps of green smoke, gradually drifted in the mountains and forests. Wild beasts occasionally appeared around, but they quickly ran away when they saw Su Shisan. Su Shisan shook his head. If he's in a good mood today, he won't eat these wolf cubs. Pudong. A splash of water splashed, and a big fish about 2 meters long jumped out of the water and rushed towards the grilled meat. But there is still a figure that is one step faster than it. Evil beast, you seek death, dare to snatch my flesh. Su Shisan's pupils widened, and he kicked the big fish fiercely into the water with a flying kick and tremendous force. The next moment, Su Shisan did not intend to spare the other party. He was worried that he would not have a late-night snack and would automatically deliver it to his door. With a leap, he plunged into the river like a sharp sword. The big fish gradually regained consciousness and saw that the tiny human dared to rush towards him and immediately welcomed him. With his mouth wide open, he seemed to want to swallow Su Shisan in one gulp. Bang! The fist was constantly waving with strands of blood. The big fish only felt a sharp pain, and before falling into a coma, he seemed to see blood-stained teeth brushing past his eyes. Puff. Little fish, if you want to blame me, it's your bad luck to meet me. Su Shisan jumped out of the water and slowly swam towards the shore, holding the big fish's tail in one hand. He was in a good mood and had a full meal before leaving, which filled him with hope for the future. This world is definitely not as restricted as the previous Blue Star. Although he has not had contact with humans, it can be seen from these large animals that this world must be a world that values force. Whose fist is big, who has reason? With his current strength, how can he be considered a strong opponent? Punching dinosaurs and kicking big fish, just ask who else is there. Ah! Help! At this moment, a pleasant scream suddenly came from Su Shisan. As soon as he looked up, he saw a big lump of meat, while a black shadow fell from the sky and hit itself straight. He was just about to dodge, but suddenly saw the appearance of the dark figure clearly, and surprisingly, it's a woman. Oh my goodness, it's been 5 years, and finally he's been able to see people. No, we can't hide. If she falls and dies, wouldn't we be alone again? It was a matter of time, but in an instant, Su Shisan made the decision to catch the other person. Ba-da-da. Pudong. Su Shisan seemed like a fish leaping over a dragon's gate, accurately embracing the woman, but the two fell heavily into the river. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes after a full 5 minutes, the calm water surface finally appeared with waves. Su Shisan's face turned red and his ears turned red, as if he was feeling empty. He walked step by step to the shore. Meanwhile, behind him was a pale-looking figure. Although the woman is unconscious, her long golden hair and light pink dress that fits her skin all showcase her charm. Very beautiful. Su Shisan sat paralyzed on the ground, watching her delicate and stunning appearance compared to the celebrities on TV in her past life. If I had to say that, it would be a world of difference, with no comparability at all. Beauty should only exist in the sky. However, he always felt that the woman's appearance seemed somewhat familiar. Not for a while. Seeing that the woman was not yet awake, Su Shisan quickly climbed up to her side and gently sniffed her nose. However, this exploration was foolish and did not are you out of breath. Inema, did the person he saved with half his life say it's gone? In an instant. His eyes gradually grew bloodshot, and various emotions of anger, sadness, and unwillingness surged into his heart. No, the person who was finally rescued cannot just die like this, let alone the other person who is still a beautiful woman. It's a pity to die. He remembers teaching on TV that drowning people can do abdominal compressions to squeeze out accumulated water from their bodies. Forget it, forget it. Give the dead horse a try as a living horse doctor. Wake up, don't die. Su Shirsan immediately came to her and took emergency measures. Just a moment. Twice. 3 times. After pressing for a full minute, the woman still had a pale face. Su Shirsan became desperate, his hands gradually stopped, and his mood was filled with deep pain. However, just as he was hopeless, the woman who had been motionless suddenly choked out a mouthful of water. Su Shirsan walked forward with great joy and gently swayed, while also probing the other person's breath. It was very weak, very light, and almost imperceptible if not felt carefully. His gaze glanced at the delicate corners of his mouth, but he didn't care about the differences between men and women. Saving someone was crucial. Give a smack. With his first aid, the woman gradually began to react. After a while, he coughed a few more water stains. Just as Su Shirsan was about to continue his emergency treatment, a pair of bright eyes stared straight at him. In an instant. With 4 eyes facing each other, even the air seemed to solidify at this moment. You. Why are you awake? Su Shirsan was startled and leaned back, quickly retreating. Don't misunderstand, I was trying to save you and didn't want to take advantage of you. The woman opened her eyes and tilted her head curiously, looking at the primitive person in front of her. Su Shirsan. What should I do? What should I say? Is he still able to run now? Okay, I admit you're pretty. If you feel like you're at a disadvantage, then I'll let you kiss me back. This is also my first time, I promise you won't lose out. Su 13 blushed and spoke. This is not that he is shameless, but that he has enough confidence in his appearance in this life. Pushy. Little one, what are you talking about? It's not enough to take advantage of the situation, and you still want your sister to voluntarily dedicate herself. The woman pursed her lips with a coquettish smile. I'm not, you're talking nonsense. Su Shirsan waved his hands repeatedly, his first encounter with such a beautiful girl made him feel somewhat flustered. Puff. Ha ha ha, I'm not teasing you, sister doesn't blame you. The woman squinted her eyes and slowly got up and walked to his side. What are you doing? Su Shirsan suddenly stood up, his eyes slightly wary as he looked at the other person. The woman was stunned and looked up and down. Little one, what are you afraid of? Even if you want to be afraid, I should be the only girl who is afraid, right? What kind of stories will happen when encountering delinquent youths in the deep mountains and forests? This theme must be very popular, right? Nah, is that right? The woman surrounded him like an elf and muttered to herself. Su Shirsan suddenly felt as if he had saved a fool. There was no girl in the deep mountains and forests who was not afraid but also excited when encountering strangers. Oh my God! Should I have encountered a pervert myself? Hey, where are you going? Wait for me. It's not gentlemanly to leave a delicate girl behind. Do you know that? Wow, such a big dinosaur, shouldn't you have baked it? Oh, do you mind if I have some? If you don't speak, I'll assume you agree. My name is Tayce. What's your name? Chapter 2. 1-Star Dragon Ball. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Where are people? They ran away early in the morning. 7 days later, Su Shirsan put on his homemade simple clothes, and with the addition of Tayce, he also began to pay attention to his clothing. Tiger skin, mink boots, and animal clothing may not be as good as normal clothing, but they are also stronger than the appearance of a naked savage. As the fragrant smell of grilled meat spread, a hurried sound of footsteps rushed to his side from behind. You don't have to look, you know it's Tayce who chatters all day and has endless fantasies in her mind. After a few days of contact, he could tell that Tayce was just a middle school girl with various unrealistic dreams in her mind. Aliens, storage space, or spacecraft. Woman, do you really consider him a little idiot who doesn't understand anything? A woman with no power to bind a chicken is nothing more than a young lady from a certain family. It's just that. After finishing this meal, let's find a chance to see her off quickly. Su Shisan shook his head. Although it was nice to have beauty with him, he didn't want to cause trouble for himself. The only possibility for a young lady from a large family to be stranded in the wilderness is to be sought revenge. Nah. Mistress, hurry up and find it. This is the universal capsule I told you about. Tayce bounced forward like a little elf picking up a treasure. But he didn't notice that Su Shisan's eyebrows had slightly curled up. Tayce, the universal capsule. Wait. Is this Tayce the sister of Buma? The universal capsule is one of the biggest black technologies of Dragon Ball. I traveled to the world of Dragon Ball. At this point, Tayce excitedly threw out the capsule in her hand, and with a bang, a burst of white smoke rose. In front of the two, a 40 square meter furnished house suddenly appeared. Ah, my little home, you're back. Sister has been missing you so much these days. Tayce smiled and curved her eyes, exuding a charm of being a neighbor sister all over her body. At this moment, another shout came from behind the two of them. Hey, woman, do you know how long I've been looking for you? Su Shisan looked up and his originally uncertain expression instantly became firm. Isn't this salted egg superhero dressed exactly like Galactic Patrol Gark? Oh my god, it's really the world of Dragon Balls. So when is it now that Goku started searching for Dragon Balls? No, is that what I should care about? This is the Dragon Ball world, and any villain can easily explode stars. Su Shisan's sword eyebrows were almost frozen into Sichuan characters. Although he had longed for the Dragon Ball world in his past life, here it was only based on bloodline theory. Ordinary people were all soy sauce, even the strongest among humans, Klin. Will it still become a divine artifact for worshipping the heavens in the later stage? Is it only possible to become a supporting figure after a lifetime of hard work? No, he is unwilling, he does not accept fate, and the road is always paved by people. Isn't Dr. Grow still able to create artificial humans that are comparable to Super Saiyan humans? Can't the bloodline of Earthlings cultivate into strength? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. At this point, Tayce has already finished communicating with Gak and ran over. At the same time, behind the two of them, there was a spaceship the size of a house slowly descending. Oh, mistress, I'm leaving now. Take good care of yourself. There are enough daily necessities in this house, so I'll treat them as a life-saving gift for you. Tayce said with a smile. Have you left? Wait. Su Shisan regained his senses and was about to speak when he saw a golden figure approaching. Give a smack. The fragrance of gardenia lingered on his nose for a long time. This feeling almost instantly made Su Shisan stand straight in place like a wooden carving. Past and present lives. This is the first time a girl has taken the initiative to kiss herself after living for 2 lifetimes. Goodbye, mistress. Third, if there's a chance, I'll come back to see you. Su Shisan suddenly woke up to the ambiguous voice, but the scene before him made him angry instantly. The damn woman kissed her and wanted to run away. Damn it, stop it for me. Woman, I remember you now, don't let me meet you again. In no time, the spacecraft almost turned into a stream of light and disappeared before his eyes. Su Shisan stared at the void and gritted his teeth, reaching out to lightly touch the corner of his lips that still had a lingering fragrance. Tayce's kiss seemed to open the door to a new world for him. So girls feel so good about it. Tayce, if you can run away, the monk cannot run away from the temple. If you provoke me, don't try to leave me in your lifetime. Bang 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 bang. Punching the ground one after another until a small pit formed in front of him, he slowly stopped. Su Shirsan's obsidian-like eyes revealed a resolute expression, and he slowly got up and walked into the house. It took about half an hour to come out. At this moment, he was dressed in a black tailcoat, suit pants, and a high-top hat, as if he had walked out of a fairy tale as a black knight. Although very handsome, it is very strange. This style, this taste, I am truly a writer of novels, my mind is filled with nothing serious. The secret that the Black Knight and I have to tell. For the sake of your beauty, I will take note of this account for you first. Wait. Next time, I will definitely show you what a true Black Knight is. Bang. Su Shirsan collected versatile glue and chose a direction to walk towards the outskirts of the forest. He wants to leave, he wants to become stronger, and he will never be a mediocre ant. Blue Star once had a great man say a sentence. There is no road in the world, and with more people walking, it becomes a road. Who says that earthlings cannot become strong? Who says that earthlings cannot step onto the big stage of the universe? He doesn't believe it. In this life, never continue to be cowardly. A mountain stream. Su Shirsan was originally on his way, but suddenly he was dazzled by a bright yellow light. He had intended to leave but suddenly stopped. Almost instantly, something that could make everyone's heart skip a beat came to mind. Dragon Ball. Isn't it so coincidental? Su Shirsan rubbed his chin and after thinking for a while, he finally decided to explore the truth. Although it didn't feel like he could be so lucky, what if it was? After a few jumps, he arrived halfway up the mountain. Da-da-da-da. No, shouldn't it? Su Shirsan scanned around but didn't find any abnormalities. The next moment. Just as he was about to leave, a sharp and piercing cry rushed towards him. In the blink of an eye. Bats the size of leather balls flew out of the cave. Garbage, no meat, can't eat. Su Shirsan furrowed his brows. He hated bats, a creature that had no function and couldn't fill his stomach. But just as he was about to leave, a corner of his eye caught sight of the coveted object. Surprisingly, it is really a Dragon Ball. In the depths of the cave, a shimmering pearl was embedded in the center of numerous bats. Su Shirsan almost couldn't help but disperse the bat swarm and walked towards the direction of the Dragon Ball. With a click, he was completely fearless of bats with his current physique. Is this the Dragon Ball? Can you fulfill your wish? Su Shirsan glanced at the Dragon Ball and gently weighed it in his hand, almost unable to feel its weight. It's amazing, fun, and beautiful. If he didn't know it was a Dragon Ball, he would only consider it as a pretty piece of jewelry. Not for a while. Without any trace, Su Shirsan walked up the cliff with the Dragon Ball. At this moment, there was a rather complex expression in his eyes. As a seasoned Dragon Ball fan, he knew that the role of Dragon Balls was actually very limited. He has some ideas about becoming stronger, but he doesn't know whether the Dragon Ball can give awesome. If he can't, he will have to find out by himself. It's okay, it's okay. I only got one Dragon Ball now, and it's still far from 7. What are you thinking so much about? Su Shirsan looked at the star Dragon Ball in his arms, and a self-deprecating smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He doesn't believe that there is a way to achieve success, everything comes with a price. For example, in Dragon Ball GT, every wish will make the Dragon Ball accumulate evil energy and eventually transform into the 7 evil dragons that disturb the chaotic world. Although the Dragon Ball in Dragon Ball Z does not display any side effects, it is only the tip of the iceberg presented in the animation. Is there really no cost? I'm afraid it's unlikely, isn't it? At this point. Suddenly, Loud noises came from the sky. Roaming and rumbling. King, can you quickly see if that man has a Dragon Ball on him? What? Does anyone dare to compete with me for Dragon Ball? King, what should we do? Fool, go down and deal with him. Chapter 3. Xiaopi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kid, this road is mine to drive, this tree is mine to plant. If you want to stay on this road and buy money, shwa shwa shwa. As the three figures fell, Su Shisan also saw the appearance of the newcomer clearly. His lips twitched slightly. Isn't this the first lively and humorous group meal of Dragon Ball? Hey, kid, didn't you hear me talking to you? Ninja Asu took a step forward and touched the short sword behind him, showing a tendency to pull out the sword and face each other if there was a disagreement. Do you want this Dragon Ball? Su Shisan smiled, not only not afraid, but also took out the Dragon Ball and kept spinning in his hand. If it were other villains in the Dragon Ball, he might turn around and run away, but just forget about the mixed rice. As Su Shisan's voice fell, their faces suddenly changed, and Pilav's expression became even more solemn. He quickly called out to Xiaowu. Did I hear it wrong, or did he say it wrong? He actually knows about the Dragon Ball. King, I heard it too. Xiaowu nodded. King, our companions are enemies. What should we do? Do we still want to rob him? Xiao glanced at Su Shisan and silently calculated the difference between us and the enemy. Human beings, even if they are powerful, should not be so strong. This vote is stable. Nonsense, if this king wants to rule the world, the Dragon Ball must be mine. You two should take him down immediately. Pilaf lifted his hat and looked at Su Shisan with disdain, not taking him seriously. Upon hearing this, Axia Xiaowu glanced at each other and the two of them rushed towards Su Shisan, one left and one right. The speed is very fast, and if we were ordinary people, we might have really been scolded by them. Kid, let's take it easy. Hand over the Dragon Ball quickly. Shwa shwa. With a hint of cold light, the sword energy was pressing, and the short sword in Xiao's hand was unsheathed. Meanwhile, Xiaowu has also taken out a handgun. Very good, this is what you brought on yourself. Su Shisan's lips curved slightly. He didn't intend to take action yet, but he insisted on forcing him. Shwa. With a loud bang, the ground beneath Su Shisan collapsed instantly, and he appeared in front of Xiaowu like a shooting star. Although he is confident and has some strength, he dare not shoulder bullets forcefully. After all, not everyone has the twisted body of Goku. What? Xiaowu opened her mouth and felt a sharp pain in front of her. With a click. The pistol was forcefully shot to the ground in an instant, and Xiaowu was like a frightened rabbit, curling up one by one without waiting for Su Shisan to take action. Brother. Big brother. Handsome guy, don't hit me, don't hit my face, I was wrong. Don't worry, don't slap your face. Really? Xiaowu lifted her head in surprise and then felt a sharp pain in her lower abdomen, flying backwards like a kite with a broken string. Of course. Su 13-1 kicked in the air, solved Wang Xiaowu, and then turned around to charge towards Xiao. You. What are you doing? Xiao was startled and made a chopping motion, his eyes wide open. You're such a dog repairman. You even want to kill me and ask me what I want to do. Su Shisan sneered coldly, but the same flying leg directly stepped on Xiao's face. Rumble. Step Xiao hard into the ground with 1 foot. The ground is cracked every inch within a radius of 10 meters around Su 13. The battle is over. From the beginning until now, the total time is only 10 seconds. Impossible. Pilaf, who had been watching the play all along, seemed to have let out a deflated ball and fell heavily to the ground. He still knew the value of Xiaowu's strength, and surprisingly, it was solved so easily. Do you also want to grab my Dragon Ball? Su Shirshan walked forward and gave him a condescending glance. Pilaf only felt a chill all over his body and said, No, I didn't. I just came to tell the hero that 7 Dragon Balls need to be gathered to be effective. Upon hearing this, Su-13 nodded and carefully examined, with a faint smile outlined at the corner of his mouth. Your name is King Pilaf. No, you're joking, just call me Little Pie. Xiaopi. Aha. Pilaf knelt on the ground, with a well-behaved demeanor that almost made Su-13 break through. He didn't realize how cute the mixed rice was before. Xiaopi, how many years is AG now? Pilaf's face was full of confusion, as if he was looking at an alien. What's wrong, is this question difficult? Su Shirshan urgently wanted to figure out when it was now. No, it's 749 AD. Pilaf shook his head and quickly replied. Su Shirshan was stunned. AG 749. So, Goku has already descended the mountain and started searching for the Dragon Ball. Xiaopi, I'm asking you, have you developed your own Dragon Ball radar? You, how do you know? Did you also notice another group of people searching for Dragon Ball? Do you also know this? Madame Pila is numb. He did indeed discover that someone was also searching for the Dragon Ball, so he had no choice but to personally come out and search. Wait a minute. This guy shouldn't be with them, right? Don't think too much, I'm not familiar with them. You guys just wanted to rob me. Now, how should we compensate? Su Shirshan stared at Pilaf, and a thought gradually sprouted in his heart. Although the 3-person group of mixed rice is a humorous task, in terms of scientific research talent, it is definitely not inferior, even compared to Buma. Gudong. Pilaf swallowed his saliva fiercely, secretly saying that it was not good. Okay. Hero, spare your life. Don't be afraid, I'm not a tiger. Can I still eat you? Su Shirshan smiled and touched his head, his eyes flickering with a sly expression. Pilaf's whole body trembled uncontrollably, and Shirkuk couldn't bear it. I don't know if a tiger's butt can be touched. I don't know if the king's head can be touched. Forget it. I can't fight it, just endure it. If I'm in a good mood, I'll let you touch it. Pilaf sat obediently with a smile on his face, but not a smile on his face. He glanced at the unconscious little dancer, Ashu, and cursed the two of them for being useless. Raising soldiers for 1,000 days and using force for a while, this great king has been humiliated here. How dare you run to sleep? Ashu. Xiao Wu. Xiao Pai, if I guess correctly, you should be collecting Dragon Balls to rule the world, right? No, I swear I never had such thoughts. Pilaf shook his head repeatedly. Su Shirshan didn't expose his lies even after looking at him. Xiaopi, have you ever thought about when you rule the world? You should know that managing the country can be very troublesome. Today there will be floods in the east, and tomorrow there will be droughts in the west. The citizens under governance will also have various security issues. Have you ever thought about becoming a king, where you have endless problems to deal with every day, waking up earlier than a chicken and going to bed later than a dog? Moreover, I have to live a life of anxiety every day. Is this really what you want? With Su Shirshan's questioning, Pilaf's whole body seemed to be on the verge of collapse, as if he had been hit by an unprecedented blow. He used to just want to conquer the world but never thought about so many details. Is this really what he wants? I'm afraid this kind of life is not even for dogs, right? Xiaopi, have you ever thought about becoming a hero? At this moment, Su Shirshan spoke again, looking at Pilaf's bewildered eyes and continuing. Think about it, if you become a hero, not only will you eliminate evil and promote good, but you will also be loved wherever you go. You know celebrities, don't you want the feeling of being in constant response? All brands around the world are wearing your profile picture. Children and grandchildren benefit immensely. Su Shirsan's gentle persuasion with a smile on his lips. Pilaf was almost instantly trapped in the dreamy web he had woven. 100 echoes. 100 echoes. Hero, no, big brother, how should I be a hero? Pilaf regained his senses, his black and bright eyes filled with longing. It's easy to say, do you know the Red Ribbon Legion? Su Shirsan asked with a smile. Upon hearing this, Pilaf nodded. How could he not have known about this notorious evil organization? Su Shirsan watched the fish take the bait and stopped playing riddles. Xiaopi, have you ever thought that getting rid of the Red Ribbon Legion might be more interesting than ruling the world? Aha! What? Pilaf shook his head like a quail, eliminating the Red Ribbon Legion. He went crazy, right? What, you're scared? Su Shirsan said with a hint of mockery. How? How could it be? How could King Pilaf be frightened by the mere Red Ribbon Legion? Pilaf said with a stern expression, pretending to be calm. Oh. Since you're not afraid, let's join me in our goal of eliminating the Red Ribbon Legion. Su Shirsan smiled and reached out his hand, but his smile fell into Pilaf's eyes like a devil's smile. You're crazy. Do you know how terrifying the Red Ribbon Legion is? Pilaf almost instantly concluded that the person in front of him was a complete madman. Upon hearing this, Su 13 nodded, although compared to the later Z warriors, the Red Ribbon Legion was nothing but ants. But for now, even the old turtle would never dare to provoke them. Xiaopi, I never said I wanted to immediately trouble the Red Ribbon Legion. With your intelligence and my strength, do you think we can't even break our wrists with the Red Ribbon Legion? Or are you not confident enough in your own intelligence, thinking that you are naturally one head lower than others and that you cannot do what others can do? Pilaf stared at Su Shirsan with a monster-like expression on his face. When did humans come up with such a strange phenomenon? Are you serious about challenging the Red Ribbon Legion? Let's go. Su Shirsan turned and walked towards Xiao Xiaowu, lifting them up one by one and walking towards the nearby helicopter. Where are you going? Pilaf followed behind in a daze. Hee, go home and let me see if your intelligence and talent can make what I want. Wait, that's my home, not yours. Xiaopi, who are we with? Is yours mine or mine? You go, this king hates people without boundaries. Chapter 4. Electrotherapy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Drink, huh? Outside the Pilaf castle, Su Shirsan was surrounded by robots, frantically shooting improved rubber bullets one by one. Su Shirsan seemed like a fierce tiger descending from the mountain, and every time he reached his body, a robot would inevitably be scrapped. The roaring sound was incessant, and on a stand inside the castle, Ashu's little dance trembled. It's been 3 days. This was already the 3rd day they woke up, and even though they had seen it, they still had lingering fear for the butcher with explosive strength. It's so abnormal. In just 3 days, they even destroyed all the robots they had accumulated over the years. Is this still human? It's like a wild beast with crazy hair. Oh, Xiaowu, do you think the king is also crazy? Ashu turned his gaze and asked Pilaf, who was not far away tapping and hitting a machine. Upon hearing this, Xiaowu gave him a glare, although she didn't want to admit it, she also deeply agreed. Since waking up, King Pilaf seems to have changed a person. What to get rid of the Red Ribbon Legion? What do you want to be a hero? Crazy, they are villains, they are villains, they are villains. This kind of thing has nothing to do with it, and I don't know what that human said to King Pilaf. Ha, it's finally done, truly me. At this moment, Pilaf looked up at the instrument in front of him and laughed wildly. King, what kind of machine is this that conquers the world? Do you want me to help you test drive it? Ah Shio walked up and said. Get out of here, you dog repairman. If you want to test drive, you should be an old lady. Xiao Wu slammed his dog's head hard, with a sweet smile on her lips, looking at Pilaf as if seeking advice. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared behind the two. Are you sure you want to give it a try? You. Why did you come? Xiao Wu was startled, and since being kicked by Su Shisan, there has still been a shadow left. Su Shisan looked outside the door and then towards Pilaf. Is it done? Of course, King Pilaf is the smartest person in the world. Pilaf looked up proudly. Su Shisan generously touched his head and asked with a smile. Since it's done, let's give it a try. You. Human, don't blame me for not reminding you. It's very dangerous to rely on electric current to stimulate physical cells and enhance your physique. Pilaf gritted his teeth in anger, while also hoping that the other party would suffer some hardships. I know. Su 13 nodded as he was mentally prepared enough. Power. He needs strong enough strength. Are you serious? Pilaf frowned, realizing through just a few days of contact that he didn't dislike this borderless person. Come on. Su Shisan lay firmly in the instrument with a determined gaze. Xiao Wu looked bewildered. Their king had been tinkering for days and nights, and surprisingly, he had just made such a thing. Electric therapy equipment, what kind of ghost can conquer the world? If you can't hold on, just blink and I'll immediately cut off the power, understand? Pilaf warned solemnly. Are you very afraid that I will die? Su Shisan asked curiously. Bah. Don't be sentimental. I just don't want to lose a cook. If you die, who will make me kung pao chicken, shredded pork with fish sauce, fried eggplant with eggs? Pilaf turned his head. Since he had eaten the dishes made by Su Shisan, he has been reluctant to leave, but it's a pity that Su Shisan only made them once, and when Xiao Wu woke up, he left the responsibility of cooking to two people. Hee, little thing, wait for me to wake up. Su Shisan smiled and closed his eyes again, waiting for the moment when his body was electrified. As soon as Pilaf heard that he could taste delicious food again, he no longer hesitated and directly electrified. In just an instant, the entire instrument made a creaking sound. Electric light flickers. The silver snake dances wildly. He's not dying anymore. Xiao Wu was scared. It was the first time she had seen a ruthless person who didn't even want his life to become stronger. Crazy. Ashu's ears drooped and his body trembled uncontrollably. At this point, in an instant, Su Shisan also felt a severe tingling pain, as if he had been pierced by a fine, long needle in every part of his body. However, despite the pain, it could not defeat his desire to become stronger and no longer be manipulated by others. Not enough, keep increasing. Don't show off, this level of current is already the limit for ordinary people. Xiaopi, do you think I'm an ordinary person? You. Okay. Pilaf thought for a moment and his terrifying combat prowess stopped speaking. As the current gradually increased, Su Shisan's sharp and angular face gradually twisted. Roar. Roar, crazily, with deep growls coming from his mouth. In less than 10 seconds, the exceeding current made Su Shisan pay a painful price for his arrogance. Pushy. Blood and water gushed out of the body like clear springs. A visible stream of blood quickly formed under the feet of several people. Shocking. Terrifying. Xiao Wu was almost scared unconscious at the sight of blood stains all over the ground, and although Xiao didn't faint, he immediately ran outside and vomited wildly. The inside and outside of the room were almost filled with Su Shisan's painful screams that made his scalp tingle. Ah! Not enough, continue. Boom! A burst of electric light caused the silver snake to dance wildly, and the instrument instantly emitted beams of visible flames. Su Shirsan also fell to the ground at the moment when the machine was scrapped. However, what was terrifying was that he still maintained his posture lying inside the electrotherapy device, his bloodshot eyes staring wide, his whole body standing straight like a javelin. Pilaf swallowed his saliva and tiptoed to his side, covered in bloodstains. Third brother. Third brother. Attempted to shout a few times but received no response. Pilaf slightly panicked and tugged at his pants legs before seeing his massive body smashing straight at him. You, don't come over. Pilaf wanted to run but was one step late. He was instantly pinned under him, and he wished he could slap himself in the mouth. Why do you owe him a hand? I wonder if curiosity killed the cat. King, are you okay? At this moment, Xiao just came in and saw this scene. Bastard, didn't you see that the king was about to be crushed to death? Pilaf glared at him angrily, and Ashu quickly pulled him out, glancing at the unconscious figure. King, he's just a lunatic. If you want me to see him, why don't you just kill him? Xiao clenched his long sword behind his back. Bang! Pilaf slammed his dog's head heavily and gave him a glance, saying, Shut up, you remember me. He can never die. For the happiness of the second half of my life, I must save him. Xiao. Happiness, humanity, has he ever done something wrong? What are you waiting for? Hurry up and send him to the medical cabin for me. Damn Su Shirsan, you owe me one life. I don't agree to die like this. On the other side. Under a shady tree, a blue-haired girl lay flat on a rock, sleeping soundly. Not far away, there is also a pig and a young man with a long tail. This group of people is none other than Goku and the others. Wulong's round eyes never left her. Although this woman was a bit violent, she was beautiful enough. Her figure, appearance, and long legs were simply a pig's ideal. Suddenly, a surge of sand and dust surged towards them in the endless desert. Goku immediately sensed the danger. Not for a while. A floating motorcycle was parked in front of a few people, and the person getting off the car was the sand thief Yamucha. Beside him was also a creature similar to Pikachu, which was Pool. Who are you? Goku put on his posture and cautiously looked at the other person, asking. Who am I, little one? Just hand over all the treasures on your body obediently, otherwise don't blame me for being impolite. Yamucha pulled out his long sword from his waist, matching the cross-shaped scar on his face with a vivid image of a villain. Do you want to fight? I like it, come on. Goku, with strong nerves, drew out his golden cudgel and engaged in a confrontation. Yamcha. Where did he come from? He's so immature. He's a robber, not a fight. Pool, is that you? At this moment, the oolong behind him suddenly spoke out, and Pool also recognized the oolong. The two of them cursed at each other and refused to accept each other. Wukong, you're very strong, right? Wulong approached him and whispered. It should be. Sun Wukong nodded and received his affirmative response. Wulong instantly had the confidence to continue shouting. Crying ghost, you're here. I'll tell you that the boy next to me is very strong. Wulong pointed to Sun Wukong and quickly retreated. Very strong. Yamcha suddenly became interested and wanted to test Sun Wukong's skills. She transformed into a silhouette and rushed forward. Take my knife. You also hit me. Ada. The two of them engaged in a fierce aerial battle, and within a few rounds, Yamcha's long sword was directly shattered by the golden hoop staff. What weapon are you? What is this? Yamucha asked with a shocked expression on her face. Although his knife is not a precious item, it should not even be unbreakable with a stick. This is called the golden hoop stick. It was given to me by my grandfather. If you don't have a weapon, let's compete with each other, right? Sun Wukong's belligerent genes boiled in his body, and he had no intention of taking advantage of the opponent. Yamcha is still confused. Why is the name Golden Hoop Stick a bit familiar to him? He seems to have heard of it from somewhere. However, Sun Wukong didn't give him a chance to rush forward directly. Bang 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 bang. Da da da. After a series of punches and kicks, Sun Wukong's strength was significantly higher than Yamcha's, but his expression suddenly became ugly, even revealing a flaw in his body, and he was instantly knocked out. The Oolong was so scared that the pig's tail curled up and cursed Wukong secretly. Yamcha gasped for breath and glanced at Sun Wukong lying on the ground, admiring his strength for being so young. This vote was lost, he just wants to finish it and leave quickly. Suddenly, a blue figure caught the eye. Ah, Wukong. Buma blinked her eyes with bright teeth, and the moment her gaze touched Yamcha, her eyes seemed to twinkle with small stars. So handsome, so cool. Yamcha's eyes shrank, her heart pounded wildly, and she frantically retreated. Female. 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 Damn it, you guys wait for me, I'll come back. Buma blinked and looked at the other person who had disappeared without a trace before thinking of Goku. Wukong, how are you? Are you okay? Who is that guy? Ah. Buma, I'm so hungry. You guy. I don't have the strength anymore. Hello, Wukong, wake up and don't sleep. Oolong, Oolong, come out. Chapter 5. Not talking about martial virtue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not enough, increase the battery. A deep and hoarse roar echoed inside the castle for a long time. Su Shirsan can't remember how many times he lay in the machine, and since the first electric shock, he has clearly felt an increase in his own strength. Pilaf, Xiaowu, and Ashu also changed their strange gaze from the beginning to admiration. They witnessed the rise of this monster with their own eyes. From hitting a robot with one punch to now being able to hit a tank with one punch. Abnormal. Demon. Ah. 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 As the current gradually increased, Su Shirsan couldn't help but shout out. Pudong, Pudong, Pudong. He seemed to be able to hear his heartbeat, blood flowing all over his body, and there seemed to be overlapping illusions in front of him. Are you going to die? Is this already your limit? Drip by drop. The heart rate monitor continuously emits prompts. Pilaf instantly cut off all power and dared not continue. Third brother, you've reached the limit. If you keep going, you'll die. Is it the limit? Is this all I can do on my path to martial arts? Su Shirsan struggled to catch his breath. He didn't want to first understand Chi and then use Chi to enhance his physical body, but as a senior fan of Dragon Ball, he knows very well that even if he realizes Chi, his physical body is not strong enough, it has no effect. As for apprenticeship. Hee, who are you worshipping, old turtle? He didn't think that this lecherous old man would accept an ordinary person as his disciple, and he also looked down on Turtle Old Man from the bottom of his heart. At an old age, he even asked Wukong and his companions to find a beautiful woman, and not only that, he also directly kidnapped Lan Chi. What is the difference between this behavior and banditry? Perhaps some people believe that the cultivation of Wukong by Gue Xianren has led him to stand on the front line of saving the earth multiple times in the later stage, but even so, he does not believe that Gue Lao Tu is a good person. Wrong is wrong, right is right. Third brother, although I don't want to hit you, your physical body can't handle it anymore. If you continue, even if you don't die, you will become a vegetable. Your Majesty, can't our medical cabin also be cured? Ashu asked curiously. You know what? If the current exceeds the limit and cannot be carried, it will only cause cell death in the whole body. This is not something that ordinary medical methods can cure. Unless there is a miraculous medicine that can instantly restore people's health, let's wait to die. Pilaf gritted his teeth, hoping to scare off Su Shirsan's crazy move. But he didn't notice that Su Shirsan's eyes lit up for a moment. Instant recovery, elixir. Yes, the most essential thing in Dragon Ball is medicine. Xiendo understands that as long as there is one breath left, it can instantly recover to its peak. Su Shirsan clenched his heavily injured fist and secretly estimated his current strength. His pure strength was about 3,000 pounds, but he didn't know the exact amount when converted to strength. Goku should have around 20 points of combat power during this period, right? He dare not say that he can surpass Wukong, but if he were to compete against Yamati, he would definitely only be strong and not weak. He should have a combat power of around 20 points. However, he currently only has brute force and pure physical martial arts moves, but he cannot. It seems that a thrilling battle is still needed. Ah Xiao, where have the group of people I asked you to observe gone now? Su Shirsan turned to look at Ah Xiao. Ah. Third brother, wait a moment, I'll go take a look. Ashu smiled awkwardly and ran quickly towards the Dragon Ball radar before running back again. Third brother, they have arrived at Flame Mountain and seem to be preparing to leave. Ashu said, holding up the second-generation Dragon Ball radar. The original Dragon Ball radar was the size of a grinding wheel, but Su Shirsan suggested that Pilaf improve and make it more convenient to carry. However, although it is much smaller, it is still much worse than what Buma did. Time is tight, the task is heavy, and it would be great to be able to achieve this. Su Shirsan glanced at the Dragon Ball radar and kept recalling the plot in his mind, as if Pilaf had sent someone to snatch the Dragon Ball and happened to encounter Yamcha sneaking a peek at Buma. Scumbags, bastards, if you dare to sneak a peek at Buma, it's like risking your life. Tayce has already been regarded by him as his own woman, and Buma is not his sister. Law. His sister. Law is in danger. As his brother. Law, can he ignore it? The answer is obvious, no. My grassland, my horse, I can play whatever I want. Pooh, no, my sister. Law, I have to take care of it. Whoever wants to take advantage of it will die. Yamcha, you damn it. Su Shirsan nodded secretly and had added Yamu to his blacklist. Xiaopi, get ready for the plane, let's go take a look too. Third brother, where are you going? Fulfill your wish to grab the Dragon Ball. Su Shirsan curled his lips and smiled. He must have the Dragon Ball, and whoever dares to grab it will die. Third brother, didn't you say we don't need Dragon Balls to rule the world? What are you doing to snatch Dragon Balls from them? Pilaf frowned, not wanting to do anything harmful. Xiaopi, think about it. Dragon Balls are something that can make anyone's wish come true. If they fall into the hands of bad people, it will cause such serious consequences. As heroes, we should prevent this phenomenon from the source and control the Dragon Balls in our own hands. Su Shirsan gasped for breath and said obediently. King, what he said seems to make sense. Ah Xiao nodded at the dog. Xiao Wu had no objection and had already begun to think about how to correct the king's idea of reconquering the world. Third brother, it's not that I don't want to grab it, but from my observation, that group has a little guy who is very powerful. Pilaf hesitated for a moment, and now he no longer wants to conquer the world and naturally doesn't want to confront Sun Wukong. Bang! The next moment, with a loud bang, the earth collapsed and the rocks cracked, forming a deep pit under the feet of several people. Su Shirsan clenched his fists, still smiling at the corners of his mouth. Is he strong enough to make me weak? Third brother, that's not what I meant. I didn't underestimate you either. It's not that you're injured. Why don't we wait for you to recover before we go? No, we can't go now. If it's too late, we won't be able to make it. What's too late? Pilaf was stunned, only feeling his body being pulled outwards. Su Shirsan naturally couldn't tell him that someone wanted to peek at Buma. King. King. On the other side. Footsteps could be heard in an exquisite RV. What are you looking for? Wulong frowned and asked in confusion. Humph, you stupid pig, of course I'm looking for you to see if you've installed any peeping monsters. Buma rolled her eyes, but she was absolutely wary of this silly-looking pig. Oolong's mouth twitched. How did she know what she was thinking? Can't this woman read her mind? Hey, Wulong and Wukong, you two supervise each other. If anyone dares to peek and let me discover you, they'll be dead. What is supervision? Sun Wukong patted his round belly with a puzzled expression on his face. Wulong didn't even glance at him. Instead he lowered his head and secretly took out a bag of medicine powder and walked towards the kitchen. Hee, woman, do you really think there's nothing else I can do without peeking at you? Too naive, you are destined to be mine tonight. Clatter 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 clatter. In the bathroom, there was an intermittent sound of water. Buma gently grabbed the foam on her head, but she did not notice the window beside. At this moment, two sneaky figures were quietly approaching outside the RV. These two people are Yamcha and Pool. Since he accidentally heard about Dragon Ball, he had his mind set on Dragon Ball. In order to overcome his fear of femininity, he decided to take the Dragon Ball. Let's go over and hear what their plans are next. Yamcha waved and tiptoed towards the RV window as if he were a thief. However, neither of them noticed that there were still several figures hidden not far behind them. These few people were just Su Shirsan and his entourage who hurriedly arrived. When they saw Yamcha walking towards the RV, Su Shirsan couldn't sit still in an instant. Xiao Wu, you can go to the left side later to attract attention. Ashu, you'll go to the right side and prepare for ambush later. Alright, that's my plan. Do you have anything else to add now? Pilaf hugged his chest with both hands and had absolute confidence in his plan. De Wang, it seems that third brother has already set off. Ah Xiu pointed to his distant figure and said. Upon hearing this, Pilaf was startled and quickly looked over. Su Shirsan sprinted forward and was about to reach Yamcha's side. Damn it, why didn't you tell me so important earlier? King, you didn't ask either. Shut up, blame me. I dare not. Pilaf snorted coldly, ignoring any plans, and quickly followed Su Shirsan out. Yamcha was about to probe through the window when she suddenly felt a tightness in her heart. The next moment. Just as he was about to turn around and ask Pool, he saw a big foot of size 42 hitting his face. Bang! The figure flew backwards like a heavy shell. Yamcha seemed to see countless small stars swaying up and falling down again. You don't talk about martial arts. Pooh, are you a sand thief or a thief? What martial arts do I want to tell you? Su Shirsan let out a cold snort and decisively resolved the battle. He turned his gaze to the window and quickly turned his head. Buma deserves to be Buma. At the age of only 15 or 16, she is no worse than her sister. Ah bah. Su 13, she's your sister. Lol. What are you thinking about? Ah. Young Master Yamcha. Pool also quickly reacted and threw himself onto Yamcha. At the same time. The movement here has also caught the attention of several people inside the house. Goku was the first one to rush out, his gaze fixed on Yamcha lying on the ground, and then he smelled a sense of danger that made him tremble like a wild beast. His gaze fell on Su Shirsan, filled with vigilance as he looked at the stranger in a black tailcoat in front of him. Who are you? It doesn't matter who I am, Sun Wukong. should we have a fight? I've been looking forward to fighting you for a long time. Do you want to fight? Okay. Then I'm here. Chapter 6. Captures. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Roaming and rumbling. The two figures intertwined rapidly, punching to the flesh. A loud bang spread, and the raging waves turned into hurricanes, causing everyone to constantly retreat. Su Shirshan had no tactics, only a single iron fist, and every impact made him feel like he had hit a steel plate. Sun Wukong also felt uncomfortable, secretly marveling at the opponent's strong body. Bang! After another confrontation, the two quickly retreated and both of them cheered. Su Shirshan had small shoe marks everywhere on his legs, while Sun Wukong had half of his face almost swollen from being beaten up, and there were obvious fist marks on his chest, wiping the blood stains from the corners of his mouth. Hey, you're very strong. I'm going to fight you seriously next. Sun Wukong showed a serious expression, with only his eyes twitching incessantly with a sense of war. My name is Su 13, you can call me 13. Su 13 said. Upon hearing this, Sun Wukong nodded, clasped his fists, and made an attacking posture, asking seriously. 13, are you ready? Hee, come on, let me see what other skills you have. Su Shirshan smiled and lightly hooked his hand. The next moment, Sun Wukong ran quickly and came up to him, punching him in the lower abdomen. Su Shirshan didn't underestimate him at all. He knew that this kid had received training from Sun Wufan, and just fighting him was just a pure physical battle. He didn't even use his true martial arts fighting skills. As expected, this punch was just a feint, and Sun Wukong's whole body was like a nimble spirit monkey jumping up and down to attack. Monkey fist. Su Shirshan immediately thought of Sun Wufan's famous stunt. At the same time, he was also trying to figure out how to crack it, carefully observing Sun Wukong's every move and secretly stealing his skills. The situation on the field suddenly formed a one-sided situation. Sun Wukong almost suppressed Su by 13 dozen. Well done. Oolong walked out at some point and watched as Sun Wukong, who was exuding great power, kept cheering and cheering on. Ha! What's going on? Who is he? He's so handsome. At this moment, Buma walked out wrapped in a towel and was attracted to Su Shirshan's wild face at first glance. Isn't this the knight she's been tirelessly pursuing? However, why does this style of dressing give her a familiar feeling? At this moment, the situation inside the field suddenly changed, and Su Shirshan instantly grabbed Sun Wukong's fist that he had punched again. He was beaten several sets of monkey punches in a row, and even if he didn't learn it, he could almost see the opponent's moves. Rumble. A dragon rising fist instantly lifted little Goku into the air, followed by a flying kick that slammed him into the ground. A violent commotion erupted, thick smoke billowed everywhere, and Buma instinctively called out the name of Wukong. But compared to her nervousness, Su Shirshan dare not relax her guard. He always remembers the first iron rule of the Dragon Ball. Smoke is harmless. Schwa. As expected, Sun Wukong had already transformed into a straight sharp blade and charged up before he even fell to the ground. Su Shirshan's mouth slightly raised, and this was the battle he had hoped for. Sun Wukong did not disappoint him. 13, let's continue. Come on, have a great fight. Da-da. Bang 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 bang. The two of them are like two missiles, and every time they go, they will stir up rolling yellow sand in the sky. The sound of battle, screams, and laughter kept coming and going. Wukong, come on. Knight, come on. Buma's eyes were filled with small stars, and as she watched the fierce battle between the two, she couldn't help but wave the flag and shout. "Hey, where are you from exactly?" The corner of Wulong's mouth twitched, and as soon as he spoke, he regretted it, feeling his pig's head sink in an instant. "You have to manage it." Buma punched heavily and then helped the two of them cheer again. Bang 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 bang. The battle between the two is still ongoing. But what's different is that Goku has already started panting heavily. Su Shirsan's condition is clearly much better. Although he also feels very tired, he is still within his tolerance. Another collision occurred, and Sun Wukong suffered from his height. Before he could even hit Su Shirsan with his fist, he kicked him hard. In an instant, the battle was deadlocked, and neither of the two continued to fight. 13, you're so strong, so powerful. I still have one last move. I don't know if you dare to take it. Sun Wukong exclaimed sincerely, while placing his hands in a lotus shape around his waist, constantly accumulating strength. What is this? Su Shirsan saw this delisting action and immediately thought to himself that Sun Wukong had already learned the turtle-style Qigong wave at this time. Do you want to pick it up? Not answering. Almost in an instant, Su Shirsan made a choice and his gaze fell on Wukong. Come on. Let me see what other cards you have left. Hee, then you keep an eye on it, don't be surprised. I've just learned this move. Sun Wukong jumped backwards, and his energy began to continuously condense in his hands and heart. Turtle Pie. The blue light grew stronger and stronger, as if a rising sun illuminated the night. Qigong. The terrifying aura continued to spread in all directions, with heat waves sweeping and raging like storms. Pilaf, Buma, Pool, and others retreated frantically without even thinking. The next moment, just as Goku was about to launch his ultimate battle, he suddenly looked up but could no longer find Su Shirsan's figure. Little Goku, let me teach you a lesson on what "never tire of deceit" means. At this moment, Su Shirsan appeared behind him at some point, and a heavy sword fell from his hand. Little Goku reluctantly turned around. You. Sneak attack. Can't afford it. Little Goku stubbornly reached out his hand and was once again hit hard, even his hard as iron body couldn't support him and fell down. Ah! Wukong. Buma quickly ran forward when she saw this scene, only to feel completely relieved when she saw Sun Wukong's half-open eyes. You. You're shameless, you're despicable. How could you sneak attack someone? Buma turned to Su Shirsan and asked. Are you teaching me how to do things? Su Shirsan glanced at him sideways, and at this moment, Buma finally realized how terrifying the man in front of him was. I didn't. You're talking nonsense. Even if you're handsome, you can't be so fouled, right? Buma said, her voice getting quieter, and she unconsciously lowered her head shyly. Su Shirsan. Although he knew Buma was a flower lover, when he actually saw it, he couldn't help but feel a sigh in his heart. Having a wife like this, why worry about whether the grass on the grassland is fertile? Vegeta, listen to my brother's advice, you can't grasp it. Let's go. Su Shirsan didn't say much and walked up to shoulder Buma, who was wrapped in a towel. Where are we going? Buma was all confused. The rhythm wasn't quite right. It shouldn't have been a proposal, then a candlelight dinner, and then the bridal chamber. As a prisoner, where do you think you should go? Su Shirsan sneered, and Buma trembled with fear, but only for a moment. Ah, prisoner. Shouldn't you want to snatch yourself back and become the stronghold suppression lady? This is too fast, can't we take it slow? The next moment. Just as Su Shirsan was about to leave, he suddenly felt someone pulling at his pants, and Goku stared at him with a stubborn expression on his face. 13, Buma is my friend. You can't take her away. Please return her to me. Wukong, shut up. Buma glared angrily at him. After all these years of anticipation, the night finally arrived. Do you want me to go back and listen to what you're saying? However, Goku couldn't understand her gaze at all, thinking that Buma was afraid and had already started talking nonsense. Buma, don't be afraid, I will definitely protect you. Sun Wukong's mouth was bloodstained and he showed a naive and bright smile towards Buma. But Buma had already been driven crazy by the foolish Wukong, her mouth opening and closing silently cursing. If Su Shirshan could see it, he would definitely recognize it as a national treasure. Although I don't know exactly what was said, Buma must have a very high level of code in her heart at this moment. Bang! Su Shirshan was also polite, kicking Sun Wukong hard into the stomach and driving him into the rock mass. Sun Wukong, you're too weak. If you want to save her, then 10 days later, I'll be waiting for you there in the city 1,000 kilometers west. By the way, if you're not looking enough, it's best to bring him along. Maybe there's still hope of winning. As Su Shirshan's voice fell, Sun Wukong's already exhausted body also collapsed heavily. Xiaopi, go find the Dragon Ball and pack all the useful items with you. Also, this car is also a universal capsule that can be taken away. In a dense forest. Wulong looked at these people's bandit-like behavior and shed tears of displeasure. That RV is his last possession. How unlucky is he to run into this group of people one after another. Not for a while. With the sound of the wind, a helicopter gradually drove away with Su Shirshan and his group. His gaze turned to the unconscious Wukong, and he inexplicably felt a sense of tension in his heart. Through today's battle, he also gained a clear understanding of his own strength. If Sun Wukong's combat power is 20, then his combat power is 30, although strong, it is limited. Moreover, his improvement has reached the upper limit, but Sun Wukong is only starting. I believe that once the opponent recovers, he will become stronger. He is looking forward to the battle in 10 days. Chapter 7. Destined Nights. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Finally done, it's truly me, a genius girl. Inside the castle, Burma nodded as she looked at the precise electrotherapy device in front of her. Pilaf watched the entire process, even he had to say he admired it. Compared to the electric therapy device he made, Burma made it as if it were a rural and urban area, and their things were not on the same level. Ha! Where's the other person? Buma looked around but couldn't find Su Shirshan's figure. You said third brother, he was injured and probably still in the medical cabin. Pilaf carefully examined the electrotherapy device, his heart focused on researching the high-end scientific research technology inside. Miss Buma, I'll take you to rest first. I'll call you when third brother wakes up. Xiao Wu walked forward with a respectful expression on her face. Su Shirshan specifically reminded her to take good care of this young lady. Okay. Buma shook her head with some regret, but she didn't feel discouraged either. Anyway, they all lived under the same roof and were afraid of not finding a chance. Not for a while. Buma arrived at a less glamorous house, but it was much better than Oolong's RV. After running around for so long, he finally had a good night's sleep. Didi, at this moment, a bracelet on her wrist emitted a faint blue light. Then a phantom appeared in front of him. If Su Shirshan were here, he would definitely be able to recognize the other person. It was Dr. Blives. Buma was also startled by the sudden image and quickly looked around to confirm that there was no one before staring at the other person with a hint of resentment. Dad, what are you doing in the middle of the night? Don't you know that people scare people to death? Buma, I don't need to say much about your situation. Please be patient and wait for our drone to rescue you early tomorrow morning. Dad, don't mess around, I'm doing pretty well here. Buma, what nonsense are you talking about? Buma clenched her fist in anger, wanting to find her own knight. Why did everyone come to cause trouble? Dad, listen carefully. I won't go back. I want to find my own happiness. Are you serious? Definitely. Definitely. Absolutely. It's just that. Dad, don't worry, Su Shirsan is not bad. I'll tell you he's super handsome, and you'll definitely like him when you see him. Oh, it looks like I'll be able to have a grandson soon. Dad, what are you talking about? You're so embarrassed. Who are you talking to? Is it Buma? That's right, I reckon you'll be a grandmother soon. Really, let me take a look. Ba-da-da. Without waiting for the person speaking across from her to show her head, Buma immediately turned off the communicator. However, she knew her mother and started chatting endlessly. The most important thing is that her mother is also a big playboy. If she were to steal a man from herself, she wouldn't be at a loss. Oh my. The 8 characters haven't even skimmed yet. Buma shyly crawled into the bed, tossing and turning in her sleep that night. In her dream, she even thought of the names of her and Su Shirsan's children. Miss Buma, it's time for breakfast. At this moment, a voice came to her ear, and Buma rubbed her eyes and smelled the aroma of the food. Hey, where's my husband? Isn't he having dinner together? Buma blurted out a question, half asleep and half awake. Xiao Wu. Husband, who is it? Shouldn't it be the beast from Third Brother? I mean Su Shirsan. Buma realized she had said the wrong thing and quickly changed her tone. Oh. Third Brother is in the basement, he said he wants to try his limits. Xiao Wu shook her head and said, as if she hadn't spoken to anyone for a long time, repeating Su Shirsan's reckless behavior. Clang and clang. Buma's spoon fell to the ground in an instant, and her eyes were filled with a worried expression. If she had known this guy was behaving so recklessly, she wouldn't have said anything to make that electric therapy device. Almost without much thought, it rushed towards the basement like a gust of wind. At this point, in the basement, Pilaf stared at Su Shirsan with a nervous expression on his face. Third Brother, are you sure you want to give it a try? Well, don't worry, there's still the Dragon Ball. If something really happens, you can also make a wish to resurrect the Divine Dragon. Su nodded at 13 o'clock, feeling that his limits had increased slightly through yesterday's battle. Of course, he could also make a wish to beg for fairy beans, but he felt a bit unwilling and wanted to try again. If there were fairy beans, he was afraid. Once one's willpower is weak, it becomes difficult to break through the limitations of the human body. Even if you risk your life, you must give it a try. Alright then. Pilaf's nervous expression gradually relaxed as he heard the dragon make a wish. The next moment, electric currents surged through Su Shirsan's entire body in an instant. Pain. It was as if his whole body had been smashed with a sledgehammer, and the extreme pain had left him completely speechless. Su Shirsan tightly opened his bloodshot eyes, with meridians appearing on his arms, chest, and face, as if there were countless parasites climbing. At this moment, his body has gradually begun to shine with a silver-white light. The current is like a lightning snake surging wildly. Pushi. A meridian on my arm seemed unable to withstand the immense pressure and burst open instantly. Blood flowed out like an open river, and my body almost experienced a chain reaction, one after another, one after another. At this moment, a blue figure quickly rushed to the electric therapy device and almost without thinking, turned off the switch. The person who came is Buma. Her bright eyes were almost instantly shrouded in layers of moisture. Why are you tormenting yourself so much? Becoming stronger is just that important, isn't it better to be ordinary? Buma ignored his body and asked. Su Shirsan lost consciousness all over his body, leaving only his eyes and mouth still active. His gaze fixed on Buma's side, revealing deep nostalgia. Ordinary may be good, but it can't protect what you want. There was once a girl who left a mark in my heart, but one day she suddenly left. Since then, I have vowed never to let the person I like leave me again. Only by becoming stronger. Only with strength. Buma met those affectionate eyes, tears streaming uncontrollably out of them. Moved, so moved. She never expected that Su Shirsan could say such a touching love story. The person you like, isn't that just talking about her? She is indeed the knight destined by her fate. I am willing. Buma brainstormed one scene after another, from marriage to children growing up, and then to having grandchildren. What are you talking about? Su Shirsan tugged at the corner of his mouth, causing his injuries to ache and constantly gasping for air. Ah. I said I wouldn't escape, you don't have to torture yourself like this. Buma reacted and quickly defended himself. Do you think I became stronger for you? Su Shirsan smiled with a look of disdain in his eyes. Auntie is good, but older sister is more fragrant. If there is a chance in the future, it's not impossible to give it a try. Sisters, surely Tayce would not mind. Humph, man, don't be arrogant. I've seen through it long ago. The toughest thing on my body is not for me, but for who else? Buma raised her slender and white neck, and Su Shirsan, who I knew how to look at, closed his eyes. Bored. Su Shirsan was too tired, and this electrotherapy can be said to have allowed him to have almost zero distance contact with the Grim Reaper. If Buma comes a little late, he will definitely die. He just wants to have a good sleep now. Hey, Su Shirsan, wake up. It's very dangerous for you to sleep like this. Xiaopi, quickly bring your medical cabin. Buma urged anxiously. Miss Buma, it's useless. The medical cabin here cannot cure his serious injury. Pilaf shook his head, feeling helpless about the current situation. Waste, first use the medical cabin to stop the bleeding for him, and leave the rest to me to figure out a solution. Buma quickly commanded, and only when he saw Su Shirsan's body wound gradually scabbing with his own eyes did he confidently walk outside and make a phone call. Vertical sun. Amidst a patch of yellow sand, several figures sat together eating grilled meat. Goku grabbed a wild beast and generously distributed it to Yamcha, but his eyes flickered with a strong sense of war. 10 days, he remembered the castle 1,000 kilometers west. Hey, are you really going to find that monster? Yamcha asked while eating the grilled meat. Although he was caught off guard yesterday, he knew clearly through Pool's account how terrifying Su-13 was. Well, Buma is my friend. I have to go save her and fight against powerful enemies to become stronger, right? Goku said without hesitation. Yamcha's eyes slightly froze, for some reason his long-dormant martial arts heart had a reaction. Only by fighting against the strong can one become stronger and stronger. Do you want to go? Goku asked with a smile. Hee, what does it have to do with me? I'm just for the Dragon Ball, and I won't go along with you to provoke that pervert. Yamcha rejected directly. Upon hearing this, Wukong scratched his head with a troubled expression on his face. Dragon Ball, that thing seems to have been snatched by him too. What? Yamcha's face suddenly changed. Without the Dragon Ball, how could he overcome his fear of women? No, the Dragon Ball is his, no one can argue with him. I've decided, I'm going too. Okay, then let's become stronger together. After 10 days, let's go over together and defeat him. Just go, who's afraid of who? I'm full, do you want to have a fight or an activity? Come on, I'll be afraid of you. Then I'm here. Yulongper watched quietly as the two of them continued to fight like madmen. Hey, stupid pig, what's the relationship between that woman and Wukong? He would rather take a risk than go and save her. Isn't she a girlfriend? Pool asked curiously. Oolong's pair of bean eyes almost popped out of his body. Does this guy want to hear what he's saying? Wukong is so big, Buma is so big, probably not as tall as a violent woman's legs. They too, lovers. Is it suitable? Crying ghosts, what are you looking for Dragon Ball for? Wulong didn't answer and asked. Pool's face froze and he looked at Yamuti. Maybe. Maybe. To overcome the young master's fear of women. Pool said with an embarrassed expression. Wulong. Phobia, seriously, is that why I make a wish? Crying ghost, your wish is unique enough. Stupid pig, you want to fight. Chapter 8. All is white, only I am black. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Inside the medical cabin. A layer of antique bronze skin, the streamlined body of the upper and lower muscles moved. Where am I? Are you dead? Drip by drop. Su Shirsan listened to the noisy sounds in his ears, his heavy eyelids slightly opening a gap, as if he was being embraced by the sea, feeling very comfortable. Gudu, bubbles kept popping out of the instrument at the corner of his mouth. The next moment. The medical cabin was opened by someone, and a figure with short blue hair rushed towards him, tightly embracing him. Woo, you bastard, finally woke up. Do you know how worried I am about you? The person who came was none other than Buma. During the days when Su Shirsan was asleep, she hardly ever left the basement, afraid that a knight who didn't pay attention to her would die. Buma's unwavering love deeply impressed even Pilaf and his companions. Xiaowu occasionally runs to the basement, and she is curious about what it feels like to love someone. Buma can actually do this for third brother. A few days and nights without sleeping, any slight disturbance will inevitably wake up the first time. Buma, don't cry, I'm not awake. Su Shirsan was momentarily stunned and lifted his arm to gently embrace him. Upon hearing this, Buma cried even louder, as if she wanted to cry out all the grievances of these days. I don't know how long it took before the crying gradually stopped. How long did I sleep? Su Shirsan regained consciousness and suddenly remembered that he had another important matter to attend to. 9 days. Buma said subconsciously. 9 days. It's okay, I didn't miss it. Su Shizenchang breathed a sigh of relief and suddenly felt a pain in his waist. Bastard, you know how to fight, don't you know how to care about me? Buma Yu twisted her hand hard, her bright eyes as if looking at a heartless man. Su Shirsan frowned slightly, his gaze fixed on Buma's slightly haggard face. She's been unconscious these days, shouldn't she have been here watching? What's wrong with you staring at me like this? Is there any flour on my face? Buma looked slightly displeased, and her tired face launched a fierce attack, not only lacking any deterrence but also appearing very cute. Buma, thank you. Su Shirsan reached out and touched the swollen corners of her eyes. Despite countless words in his heart, he didn't know how to speak, and in the end, he could only hold back the words, thank you. Buma was taken aback for a moment, and through his eyes, she saw what she looked like now. In an instant, a deafening scream erupted from the basement. Ah! 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 Don't look, watch me bite you again. Buma lowered her head slightly, her voice soft and sticky, emitting a dragon roar. Woman, you are a prisoner now, dare you still threaten me? Aren't you afraid? Su Shirsan gently embraced his arm, and Buma stumbled and fell straight on his body. Pudong, Pudong. Buma seemed to be able to hear her heart beating violently. At the same time, he also remembered his identity as a captive. Wait a minute. What's wrong with the prisoners? Who stipulated that prisoners must be afraid of the Mountain King? Anyway, this guy won't kill himself. What are you afraid of? Humph, man, threaten me. I'm just like this, can you still eat me if you have the ability? Buma arrogantly provoked. Woman, if you're playing with fire, aren't you afraid of burning yourself? Su Shirsan stared at his delicate face and said it was impossible for him to have no thoughts in his heart. Upon hearing this, Buma's expression froze. Although she had a carefree personality, she was still a little girl. Su Shirsan's gaze was too aggressive, and she felt as if she was being targeted by a beast that had just escaped from sleep. But it was only a moment. Her indomitable nature does not allow her to bow down now. I happen to be a bit cold, why don't you perform how to start a fire out of thin air? Su Shirsan was stunned, his gaze slightly dull, staring at the other person intently. Is this woman really unaware of how seductive she is? Or do you think he's afraid to do something? Come on, perform, where is the fire? Buma looked at his stunned expression and became more certain of his speculation. For a while, his courage gradually increased. 13, you shouldn't be unable to do it, right? It's okay, I won't laugh at you. I guarantee that only heaven knows and earth knows about this matter. You know, I know. Give a smack. Before Buma could continue to provoke, he felt a black shadow suddenly appear in front of him. Buma was shocked and wiped the corners of her lips, completely dumbfounded. This is her first kiss. Is that all that's left? Woman, this is the price of provoking me. Next time, I will definitely give you a lifelong lesson. Su Shirsan smiled with a curled lips, and before Buma could get angry, he immediately walked towards the castle. Buma looked at his departing figure and murmured two words, so handsome. This is the feeling of love, it seems very good. No, no, no. My first kiss. Ah. Ah. Ah, this bastard dares to do such a thing to me. Shame to death, shame to death. On an open space outside the castle, Su Shirsan stood quietly, lying for 9 days feeling rusty all over his body. Bombardment. His arms swayed, his fists clenched, and the howling wind seemed to form an impermeable wall around him. Su Shirsan briefly moved his body, but his expression gradually showed a hint of solemnity. 3,000 pounds. I walked through the gates of hell again, but my own strength did not improve at all. However, it was not without gains, as he could clearly feel that his body's resistance to attacks had become stronger. Even the upper limit of the body seems to have faint signs of loosening. Useful. If we come a few more times, maybe we can really do it. Wukong, you must be too impatient, right? Tomorrow's battle, I'm looking forward to it. Let me fight you in my mortal form for the final battle. The next day, a luxurious seat is placed outside the huge castle. This seat was originally Pilaf's, but it was only temporarily borrowed for use after Su Shirsan's warm greetings. He never considered himself a righteous person. People have evil thoughts. The world is white, but I am the only one who is black. As a villain, one cannot lack any reputation. Su Shirsan is almost 1.8 meters tall, and his black slim-fitting tailcoat perfectly highlights his explosive body. Paired with that sharp face, it gives people a feeling of speaking out as if it were evil. Buma quietly swallowed her saliva, and Su Shirsan's appearance can be said to completely satisfy all her pursuits for her significant other. After a while, he quickly cleared up his emotions and walked step by step to the throne of Su Shirsan. 13, can you not harm Wukong? Do you care about him? Su Shirsan turned his gaze with a hint of sharpness towards Buma. No, he and I are just friends. He saved me before, and I just don't want to see him get hurt. Buma quickly explained. So you want to see me injured? Su Shirsan smiled and joked. I'm not. Buma panicked and waved her hand. Alright, I won't tease you anymore. I won't kill Sun Wukong. Su Shirsan shook his head, even without Buma's reminder, he never thought of killing Sun Wukong. Buma's face turned red, and a pair of silver teeth clattered as she bit them. Bastard, shameless, knows how to bully oneself. Ah. Bite you to death. Bark and haw. Buma's small movements had already been fully observed by him, and at the moment when the other party approached, he suddenly turned around, with a faint smile on his lips. "So proactive, should we go to my room tonight to chat?" "You bastard, you're shameless, you're shameless. Ha ha ha, haven't you heard a saying called a man's true nature? You, twisted and twisted, it's simply terrible." Buma stomped her feet angrily. Such a lovely scene almost broke Su-13's defense. At this point, a burst of wind suddenly sounded, and at the end of the sky, a bright yellow cloud quickly approached. At the same time, a few miles away from the castle, the earth also stirred up towering dust. Finally, Su Shirsan's expression suddenly became serious, and a strong and intense sense of war appeared in his eyes. Chapter 9. Little Dog's Fist. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. 13. I'm here, where are the Buma people? Sun Wukong descended from the sky into the castle. Buma, I'm looking for you. Do you want to go over and say hello? Su Shirsan asked with a smile. Buma gave him a glare and then turned to look in the direction of Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong also saw Buma at the first moment, and after confirming that the other party was not injured, he smiled brightly. Buma. Wukong, I'm fine, don't worry. Bang. Buma waved and greeted, completely unaware that Su Shirsan had already appeared behind her. A hand knife knocked Su Shirsan unconscious in an instant, and Buma turned back desperately. The corner of her mouth moved silently. If her eyes could kill Su Shirsan countless times, it would be true. Black-handed, sneak attack, is this bastard still shameless? Su Shirsan smiled and ignored Buma's angry gaze, waving to Xiao Wu who was watching the play on the side. Take her down and let her sleep for a while. Oh. Ah. Good. Xiao Wu was momentarily taken aback, and the words she wanted to say were swallowed by Su Shirsan's gaze. Is this the legendary saying that hitting is either kissing or cursing is love? Forget it. Sangu doesn't need to explain things to her. Xiao Wu dared not speak too much and quickly hugged Buma, disappearing from the sight of a few people. Upon seeing this scene, little Goku immediately rushed forward. Wukong, have you asked me if you want to go over? Su Shirsan had been guarding against the other party for a long time and took the lead in blocking Sun Wukong's departure. At this point, a discordant voice suddenly broke the standoff between the two. Hey, I'm not saving anyone. As long as you give me the Dragon Ball, how about I leave? The speaker was none other than Yamcha, and with Sun Wukong blocking the fire ahead, his tone became louder. Hee, if you want the Dragon Ball, you should also be a match. Su Shirsan sneered, looking down on this scumbag who played soy sauce all the way from the bottom of his heart. Bastard, look down on me. I will definitely kill you. Yamcha was angered by his contemptuous gaze, and as a desert thief, he has been holding on to human life for many years. Kill me, give it a try. Su Shirsan's eyes suddenly became sharp, and his impression of Yamcha was extremely poor. This kind of person who only knows how to get something for nothing by committing crimes can even be washed away in the end. Funny. The murderer is constantly killed. Bastard, let you taste my Wolf Fong Wind Fist. Yamcha launched a surprise attack in an instant, and after these days of fighting against Sun Wukong, he became more confident in his own strength. At this moment, he may not be as inferior as Sun Wukong before, but to this extent, he is still not seen by Su Shirsan. Sun Wukong's combat power. 30. Yamcha's combat power. 20. Su-13's combat power. 30. Garbage, if you want me to see you, it's better to call you Little Dog Wong Fist. After a battle with Sun Wukong, Su Shirsan's combat experience has greatly improved, and with an absolute strength gap, he can easily see the flaws at a glance. Bang! Su Shirsan moved, as if a shell had arrived first. Yamucha's expression froze for a moment, and Su Shirsan's trace was lost in her field of vision. Just as she was about to search, she felt a dangerous aura coming from behind. Here. Too slow. Su Shirsan once again changed his position and circled in front of Yamucha, punching fiercely. Yamcha's eyeballs were almost bulging out of her body, and her whole body was like a kite with a broken string being inverted for tens of meters. However, Su Shirsan, did not intend to let go of the other party. His legs erupted at an unparalleled speed, and even Goku only saw a faint shadow. Yamucha, your stupidest thing is to provoke people who are even stronger than you. Su Shirsan appeared in the sky above Yamucha, kicking heavily with a whip leg. The two of them instantly fell to the ground, and waves of heat accompanied by strong winds blocked the sight of the others. At this moment, Yamcha had already been beaten and spat out blood, lying on the ground on the brink of death, her eyes filled with fear. Monster, he has already become stronger, yet he is not the enemy of this guy's unity. Yamucha, as a strong person, I'll give you a little lesson today. Su Shirsan's mouth showed a fierce expression, and a strong killing intent faintly rose in his heart as he thought of Yamucha wanting to peek at Buma before. But Yamcha cannot die yet, keeping him is far more useful than killing him. Pushi. A crimson bloodstain was as striking as the setting sun. Su Shirsan immediately took off Yamcha's left eye and gently grasped it in his hand. Cyclops paired with sand thieves. It's a perfect match. Yamcha, this eye is just a price. Ah. Devil, my eyes, you will definitely receive retribution. Yamcha screamed in pain, almost curled up in a ball and trembling incessantly. Noisy, if I were to suffer retribution, then you would have been plundering and extorting all day long and would have gone to 18 levels of hell. Su Shirsan kicked it away and then turned his gaze to the angry Goku. 13, you're going too far, I'll definitely not let you go. After these days of martial arts competitions, Sun Wukong had already regarded Yamcha as his friend. Friends are humiliated. He will never sit idly by. Very good, your expression seems like I've done so much wrong. But with your intelligence, I probably don't understand. People like Yamcha don't hesitate to die. I'm just doing things for the sake of heaven. Talking too much is useless, come and fight. Su Shirsan didn't want to explain at all. He deeply suspected that Sun Wukong's intelligence was all added to his combat talent. Shouldn't people who do all these bad things like Yamcha be killed? War. Sun Wukong rushed forward with swift steps, and in his angry state, his combat power seemed to have improved. The fist style is fierce, the fighting spirit is fierce, and the flames of revenge burn in the eyes. Su 13 endured Sun Wukong's attack while feeling the changes in his body. He was indeed stronger than before, although his strength did not change, he was more resistant to beating. He felt as if he had endless power, and took advantage of Sun Wukong's lack of attention to strike Monkey Fist. What? Sun Wukong was stunned. Isn't this Monkey Fist? You, how come you know Monkey Fist? You taught me. Su Shirsan pursued Sun Wukong with victory, punching him one after another throughout his body. Sun Wukong seemed to have figured out the key in an instant. This guy only learned how to fight once by himself. Since that's the case, let's use Monkey Fist to determine the winner. The next moment, the two figures seemed like agile monkeys constantly attacking. Bang 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 bang. Both sides are coming and going, and the attack speed is getting faster and faster. The powerful airflow gradually lifts a tornado. In an instant, the two were wrapped in a tornado and could only hear the sound of punches hitting their flesh. Monsters, two monsters, who can win between them? Pilaf rubbed his eyes and asked the two people around him, unable to see the situation clearly. I don't know, it should be Sangu. Xiao Wu shook her head. Not necessarily, that kid is not weak either. In case third brother falls. Ah Xiu pinched his chin and said seriously. Pooh, the dog can't spit out ivory from its mouth, and its elbow is turning outward. On your side. Pilaf slammed his hammer lazily as he continued to monitor the situation on the field. Third brother, come on. Third brother, victory is guaranteed. Ashu watched Pilaf and Xiaowu waving flags and shouting, silently shedding tears. Why is it always him who gets hurt? Rumble. The battle continued, and gradually became anxious. The moves used by both sides were almost identical. Although Sun Wukong is skilled in his moves, he has almost no advantage due to his short stature. Su 13 was determined to hone his combat skills. So a scene of evenly matched forces emerged. Bang 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 bang. After a while, the war situation quietly changed without realizing it. Su Shirsan's moves become more and more convenient as he fights, with his long legs and hands being the most advantageous. He surpasses Wukong in terms of strength, moves, and physique without losing. 13, you're so strong, but I won't give up either. Be careful, punch me. Sun Wukong let out a loud shout, clenched his fists tightly, but suddenly changed his moves. With a flying kick, he fiercely kicked Su Shirsan's lower abdomen. Hee, it's interesting, actually me. Su Shirsan not only didn't get angry, but also looked at Wukong with a hint of appreciation in his eyes. 13, I also learned from you that war never tires of deceit. Sun Wukong succeeded in his attack and instead of continuing to pursue, scratched his head and awkwardly smiled. Su Shirsan didn't care and quickly started the second round. The battle continues. Shadowless feet. 13, you're a fist. I'm willing, do you mind? Okay, look at me, Monkey King Fist, take a punch from me. Su Shirsan was prepared and kept his gaze fixed on Wukong's legs, but the next scene left him bewildered. Dog Kong, you're going too far and using your tail. 13, what's going on? Surprisingly, isn't it? Sun Wukong chased after him and used his tail to restrain one of his arms before quickly attacking. Bang 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 bang. In an instant, the situation on the field reversed once again, and Su Shirsan was almost completely suppressed by Wukong. 13, you're sure to lose. Is that right, Wukong? Let me tell you one more thing. Learning carries risks, so be careful when entering the pit. Su Shirsan grabbed Sun Wukong's tail with his backhand, and in an instant, Sun Wukong felt like a deflated ball lying on the ground, soft and fluffy. He was well aware that Sun Wukong had not yet overcome the weakness of his tail during this period. Did I hear it wrong, or did they say it wrong? Why are you punching and kicking like a street thug? Ashu muttered to himself as he watched the eerie fighting scene. Xiao Go, you don't know anything about it. This is a master's move. Pilaf was another explosive hammer, with a face full of hatred that could not turn into steel. That's right. Whatever they shout is what they say. If you're not convinced, you can give it a try and see if it's a fist or a foot. Xiao Wu spoke with deep agreement. Ashu trembled with fear, but he hadn't lived enough yet. If these two monsters were really hit by them, they wouldn't have died. At this point, The battle situation has once again ushered in a reversal. Wukong, you lost. Attack me with your own weaknesses, you really underestimate me. It's my turn now. Chapter 10. This divine dragon, is it fake? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pushi, ah. Sun Wukong's screams echoed through the sky. Su Shirsan showed no mercy and punched to the flesh. Bang 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 bang. Punching after punching, the blood stains on Sun Wukong's mouth had already soaked through his clothes. After a while, as if tired, Su Shirsan gradually stopped. But his arm still grabbed Sun Wukong's tail, his gaze looking at him as if it were evil, secretly thinking about how to deal with it. It's definitely not possible to let it go like this. Sun Wukong's love for waves must be changed. Got it. Just do it this way. Sun Wukong, never underestimate any of your enemies, let alone fight with a probing mentality. Today, let me teach you a lesson. After saying this, Su Shirsan grabbed Sun Wukong's legs with both hands and fiercely broke them. Ah! 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 Sun Wukong screamed in agony, feeling that his legs had already broken. Rumble! After finishing everything, Su Shirsan punched Sun Wukong's lower abdomen and blasted him out. Sun Wukong lay motionless on the ground. Wukong, you lost. Go ahead and leave with that trash. I won't kill you today, next time. Before Su Shirsan could finish speaking, he heard a burst of laughter. Wukong, why are you laughing? 13, you've been deceived, take my last move. At this moment, Sun Wukong suddenly lifted his head and his hands were lotus-shaped, gathering blue light waves. Su Shirsan's face suddenly darkened, and he forgot about this incident. Damn it. I can't hide it anymore, it's truly you, Wukong. Turtle-style Qigong. Sun Wukong showed a brilliant smile, and his arm-thick turtle-style Qigong instantly hit Su Shirsan's location. This strike is unavoidable, only by carrying it hard. Su Shirsan's muscles tightened all over his body, and he placed his hands in front of him, shouting loudly. Roaming and rumbling. The blue and white light became the only color. The rolling heat waves are sweeping wildly in all directions like the Yangtze River. It's over, 13 is dead. Pilaf collapsed on the ground in an instant, feeling a sense of darkness in his life as he thought of going back to the days of eating things that Ashu's dogs wouldn't even eat. Dewang, look, Sangu is fine. Xiao Wu exclaimed in surprise. What? This is not dead. Pilaf quickly stood up and looked into the field. A figure stood tall like a javelin, and it was Su Shirsan. Monster pervert. Ashu numbed, his dog legs trembling incessantly. However, at this moment, Su 13 was also feeling uncomfortable, with large bloodstains appearing on his arms, lower abdomen, and chest as if they were being burned by fire. The only fortunate thing is that Sun Wukong is not yet very familiar with this move. Otherwise, he would be in danger. It's so close, almost falling. Su Shirsan was secretly shocked. If it weren't for another round of physical improvement, his body would definitely not be able to withstand this blow. I lost, I'm still too weak. Sun Wukong lay on the ground, not surprised by this result. Sun Wukong, challenging the strong will come at a cost. Let me teach you how to never be soft-hearted in future battles. Su Shirsan walked forward and his gaze fell on his arms. 13, what are you doing? Sun Wukong asked with a somewhat alert tone. The next moment, a scalp-tingling sound echoed through the entire castle. Click, click. Su Shirsan suddenly pulled his hands and instantly removed Sun Wukong's arms. In an instant, Sun Wukong's face turned deathly gray as he lost both hands and legs. He only felt the darkness ahead of his life. Is that all for now? Sun Wukong's gaze shattered, and he could no longer see hope. Humph, this is your martial arts willpower. If you break your hands and feet, you'll find a way to recover. Can't you do it? Is there still an old turtle? Su Shirshan snorted coldly, and he didn't give Sun Wukong a dead hand, just gave him a lesson. If the turtle old man is willing to sacrifice his life, relying on Sun Wukong's abnormal body, he should be able to fully recover in less than a month. Upon hearing this, Sun Wukong also thought of some old grandfather. Are you talking about the turtle fairy? Sun Wukong, call your somersault cloud. Su Shirshan did not answer. Sun Wukong thought for a moment and called for Jiduyan according to his instructions. Not for a while. A golden cloud appeared in front of the two. Is this the somersault cloud? Su Shirshan looked carefully and was quite curious about the cloud that automatically judged good and evil in the early stage of the Dragon Ball. After a while, Su Shirshan lost interest and casually threw Sun Wukong onto the somersault cloud, then walked towards Yamu Ti and kicked him on the back. Wukong, you're too weak. Buma is right here with me. By the way, there's also this pig and the little pudding. If you want to save them, go back and practice well. I'll wait for you here. Su Shirshan's gaze turned to a hidden grassy area, and under his command, Ashiu Xiaowu quickly caught Oolong in pool. I will defeat you. Sun Wukong gasped for breath, his tone incredibly firm. Hee, that's great. I hope you can rely on yourself instead of inviting the old turtle who never dies to come forward. Su Shirshan thought of something and indirectly set a trap for Sun Wukong. He still has a clear understanding of his own strength, not to mention that the turtle old man is the bull demon king. It is not easy to crush him. I won't defeat you, I must rely on my own strength. With momentum, I'm waiting for you to challenge me. Jiduyan, go find Grandpa Turtle Immortal. Sun Wukong whispered softly to the somersault cloud and quickly disappeared into the castle, leaving only a patch of debris. Su Shirshan gritted his teeth and his tense mind almost fell to the ground. This battle is really difficult. I almost lost. Dog Kong, you are truly the son of luck. Every time you suffer a serious injury, your recovery becomes stronger. If I don't move forward, I'm afraid I won't be your opponent next time, right? Shenlong, I hope you don't disappoint me. Su Shirshan has already set his sights on the divine dragon. He is confident that he can become stronger, but he doesn't know which step the earth dragon can take. At this moment, a blue figure rushed towards him, and Buma glared at him like a crazy little tiger. Bastard, if you ambush me, I will definitely bite you shameless person to death. Really? You've made up your mind, but if you really want to bite, I don't mind. It's just that I'm afraid some pretty girl might burst her teeth later and even leak air when eating. You. Buma gritted her teeth in anger, wanting to take a bite but worried that she might even break her teeth. Alright, let's talk about it later. Let's get down to business now. Su Shirshan smiled and looked at his injured body, calling for Xiao Wu. Not for a while. 7 Dragon Balls were placed under the gaze of several people. Hey, 13, what wish do you want to make? Shouldn't it be to rule the world? Buma asked curiously. Do you think I'm so bored? Su Shirshan shook his head, only fools would do such a thankless thing as ruling the world. The next moment. Su Shirshan is ready to summon the divine dragon directly. Come out, divine dragon, fulfill my wish. In an instant, the sky and earth were dim, and dark clouds covered the sun. The fine and dense thunder seemed to have become the main melody of the world. A golden light rushed into the sky from among the 7 dragon beads, and an ancient eastern dragon appeared in front of several people. The few people who saw the divine dragon for the first time were all shocked, grand, and mysterious. Human, speak out your wishes, I can help you fulfill any wish. However, there is only one. The huge dragon head stared into its two red eyes, and its majestic voice echoed in my ears for a long time, filled with a sacred aura. Su Shirsan's mouth twitched, he was curious about what the little dragon would do if it couldn't fit in later. Human, speak your wishes. The dragon urged again. Upon hearing this, Su Shirsan was also polite and organized his language to express his first wish. Divine Dragon, I want the legendary Super Asian bloodline. Shenlong. Time, space, and atmosphere seemed to solidify, and at this moment, the Divine Dragon stared directly at Su Shirsan. Sorry, this wish cannot be fulfilled. Su Shirsan frowned slightly, although he had anticipated it earlier, it was still regrettable. Divine Dragon, then give me the bloodline of an ordinary scion. I can't do it. Then give me the bloodline of the Frozen Demon clan. I can't do it. Then give me the bloodline of that nemesis. I can't do it. The beard at the corner of the dragon's mouth trembled slightly. After living for so many years, it was the first time I had seen such a strange thing. Can't I make a wish to obtain some gold, silver, jewelry, or power? It's also difficult for him to fulfill his desires that are beyond his control. This is a divine dragon, fake, so useless. Buma muttered softly. Nothing can be achieved. Xiaowu deeply agreed, thankfully she wanted the divine dragon to help the king conquer the world again. Pilaf also had an unpleasant expression on his face. He worked hard to make the Dragon Ball radar, but after searching for it for so long, it turned out to be a scam. He should have known long ago that there is no good thing in this world that can fulfill any wish. Su Shirsan is not surprised, he has already been prepared in his heart. After all, the divine dragon on Earth is too weak. Perhaps Super Dragon Ball can truly fulfill any wish. But if he wants to have the ability to gather Super Dragon Balls, he still needs to make a wish to obtain these chicken ribs. It's okay, it's okay. Since we can't get our bloodline, we should be able to get some immortal beings. This can't be impossible.